Yo, people, I hope you're good. Welcome to the Coolest Chess podcast. Today, we're going to discuss about Chelsea versus West Ham. What a game on Sunday against West Ham United, right? Mauricio Pochettino, thank you for that. Thank you for that. We've been crying out loud why you are not playing Marco Corella as an inverted fullback. So overall, I'm with Tsehu and Taskaji. So Tsehu, how are you?
Hey, brother mine, how are you doing? I'm doing fantastically well, given the fact that we have won the last two games, both of them clean sheets. When last did I actually say that about my team? But very proud of them, having won 5-0 and 2-0 respectively. And I'm high spirited right now. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, it feels very good to actually say that my team managed to win at least on a clean sheet. So it was quite encouraging for me to see that. So I'm great, man. I'm all right.
Thank you. G, how are you?
Hey, yo, man, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. About this match, I don't know. I got mixed feelings. I'm like, 50-50, bro. Because on one hand, I'm happy that, of course, it's a win. But on the other hand, I'm concerned that for the future, Todd Bowley might have a bit of, short-term memory and you say, hey, yo, you know what? Let's give Pochettino another season. And I don't need that. You know what I mean? I needed the pressure to be on. I needed him to get, sacked at the end of the season. And after that win and those the other win, yo, man, it's looking tough. You know what I mean?
But I think the pressure is on Taskaji. If you look at the recent reports, even David Austin said it on Sunday that Chelsea needs Europa League, not Conference League. So clearly you can see that the pressure is still on. Even you listen to Pochettino press conference, the way he talks, right? He say, "Oh, I still have 1 year contract. They want me or not?" Those kind of things. So clearly you can see the pressure is still there. So that's what I want from start. Pressure, because it was relaxing, right? And then funny thing, they inverted the role of Marco Corella. He played it in the preseason, and we say, "Wow, new Chelsea will cook." And then from the Liverpool game until the second half against Aston Villa, he changed it. So overall, I'm glad he changed it. It's about time. We still have hope for the Europa League, but it's too late. So all we can do now is win our remaining games. So let's start to you, right? What is your thoughts and about the game? And then were you impressed about the team's performance?
Okay, first things first, we got lucky. I'd like to kind of make put that out there. We most definitely got lucky. Jared Bowen hit the post or the crossbar three times already in that game. So we got very lucky. So to actually come out with that clean sheets, but we were always looking like we were going to outscore them, which was awesome. We played very well, in my opinion, and I like the overall performance. I like the way that we defended. I like the way that we attacked. The thing about West Ham is that they were too stagnant. They were not really giving us much of a challenge. They were quite slow in reaction. They let us hold on to the ball for quite long periods of time without actually pressing us. So they made it relatively easy for us to be able to kind of get through and make all those nice passes across um, all around the pitch. And even the way that we scored the fourth goal, I think, was it the fourth one? Yeah, even the way that we scored the fourth goal, there were a lot of passes that we did with like at the back between Thiago Silva, Trevor Chalova, and um, who's this? Badiashile. And it was quite cool, actually, to be honest with you, the fact that we had just one long ball going forward for Noni to kick to catch on to. But but to be fair with you, they made it very easy for us, and we were just on the money. We were on the ball, and the way that we played is the way that we should have played a long time ago. Maybe he did not go and you know make those tweaks to the way that we play, playing Cucurella as an inverted midfielder at some point, where he just goes and plays in the middle to kind of populate that space. And then for, I think it was Buddy Shield that went over to the left whenever he inverted into that position, whenever we were out of position, possession, sorry, out of position, which I thought was great. The fact that he was able to do that, and we had an extra man on there, and I thought that was great. It should have happened sooner. I'm pretty sure we would have won more games than we've lost, or at least one more than we have drawn as it stands. So it could have been better. Um, yeah, it was a great positive performance, and it's what I've always wanted. Even in the previous streams where we've had these conversations, I've always been saying that we needed spirited performances, even if we lost. As long as we lost, looking like we wanted to win. For me, that's all that matters. As long as we put the work in, we go after the opponent, we try and put in some nice passes in, and when we do get the opportunity to shoot, we take our opportunities and we actually score those goals. So as it stands, for the last game, we could have won what, seven, maybe we could have scored seven goals in that game, with the Gallagher chance where he hit the crossbar, as well as the Mudrik chance where Cole Palmer put in a very nice pass overhead, and he just caught onto the ball, but he wasn't able to take the opportunity and score, which it's not all that bad because that was a very good save from Ariola. But in truth, yeah, we could have won easily 7-0. To be honest with you, we could have done better than that. But ultimately, I'm not complaining. It was a great performance. 5 goals, clean sheet, 2 clean sheets consecutively. We haven't had that in a while, and for me, it was a great performance. I'm not gonna lie. I have nothing negative to say about that game. Honestly, it was great all round.
Yeah, thank you, Tiro. And then also big up to TJSF. Also, guys on the chat, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let us know how do you feel about the game. Were you impressed about the tactics, individual players, and stuff? So TJSF on the comment section says David Austin also ruled out Amorin Conte, Flick, and Jose. The scary thing, Dizebi was on the list, on that list. Not, I mean, Dizebi's name was not that on that list, right? And then I see the tweet of Fabrizio Romano saying he's linked to Chelsea job, and then it doesn't want him. So let's wait and see. And then the other comment they say rather Poch stays than Dizebi. Well, I agree with you, right? I don't want Dizebi to Chelsea also. And he's saying, Checo, big up, bro. No problem. Always have to support my pro Checo. Oh, Tebogo. So, Tasca G, let us know, bro. What is your thoughts about the game?
Well, you know where I stand. You know where I stand, man. Sofa said it all, man. I mean, yeah. Sofa said it all. There's nothing more I can add upon that. It was a good performance, you know. It was good. I mean, not what I wanted, you know. For the bigger picture, for the bigger picture. Yeah, man. There's nothing more I want to add on that. Honestly, it was well said. A bit disappointing, but yeah, a win is a win.
I expected you to say something like that. I expected you to say that it was a little disappointing because you genuinely are the founder of Potch Out and you really like to see that man gone. Um, for good reasons. I mean, we haven't
Yes,
really
yes,
had a
yes.
great
But
season, you know?
honestly,
But
when you win 5-0 and you're trying to hate, it's difficult. It's really difficult.
you can't.
It's like I know that we're trying to push an agenda here, but it's difficult to push an agenda when people perform like that.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, me personally, I'd rather just because I'm pretty sure I've made my position clear with regards to the way that we currently deal with managers or the way that we did it before. I'm not a big fan of, especially with the young squad that we have right now. I'm not that big of a fan of always swapping out managers. It was okay when we had an experienced squad, when we had the likes of Drogba and your Lampard, your Terrys, your Ashley Coles, your Palax, all those guys, the big giants in a team
Yeah.
where pretty much manage themselves, right? But but in a team full of young boys, and I mean, there's a lot of kids in there, and we still have others that are on loan that will most likely come into the team next season, like your Datro, your Hutchinson, your there's a lot of boys that are still coming back into the fold, and I mean, we don't have necessarily that much of an experience of an experienced squad like we did before. So for me personally, I'd rather just keep him for another season, give him another shot. But yeah, I know you guys are Poch out completely. Even Double is the same. He does not want Poch in that team at all. He absolutely does not trust him. He doesn't trust his ability to coach. Doesn't trust his tactical approach. He doesn't like this guy whatsoever. Sometimes he does admit that he did have a great game here and there, but over and above he does not like him at all. Which I don't blame him. I don't blame him for not liking him because we've played some iffy performances in the middle of the season where we could have had maximum points, but we dropped those points and we couldn't score enough goals. But now it was a matter of outscoring more our opponents, knowing the fact that we will concede. Even to this day, I still feel as though we're all a little bit shaky. We're just getting very lucky these days with the way that we play. We're just getting very lucky, and for whatever reason, it's like these teams are tired and they don't want to attack. They don't want to run as much as we do. I don't know. Maybe we are, in the grace of gods right now. Who knows? But but yeah, it's. I feel like we should give them another season to kind of stir the pot, get the boys ready, get some more experience around there because they are genuinely trying to do this to impress him. They are playing for him. It's like that game that we played against Manchester United. The way that they celebrated Palmer's goal, most of them ran to the court. They ran towards him to celebrate, which meant that they were actually, doing it for him, or that they were trying to please him, or they were doing it all together with him at the helm. I don't know, but it just gave me that impression that it was for the coach. So for me, it just shows that they are pretty much gelling together with this coach, and I don't know. I'm willing to give him another shot, but not you, Tuskegee, and definitely not the ball. These guys, you guys don't want him at all, and I understand why. Makes sense.
Bro, you know that Pochi deserves less than nothing, bro. He deserves less than nothing, and that's just being kind. This man should have been sacked after the third game. Respectfully, you know what I mean? Like, yo, man, this guy, there's nothing that he can do to win us over at this point. Like, he had his chance, he had every other chance, you know what I mean? He got the job even earlier than the Tottenham dude, and still he comes and he does this, guys. Like, yo, I don't feel like he deserves any sympathy at all. He needs to go, you know what I mean? Because, we want to create monsters, you know what I mean? Because it's not about being a player's friend, you know what I mean? It's like, do it for the club, you know? he must give them that passion to fight for the club, to say, yo, this is Chelsea. But he's bringing the Tottenham thing, you know what I mean? And I don't like the Tottenham thing, you know what I mean? Like on the last stream, we said that, you can't fix Chelsea problem. You can't you can't apply a Tottenham solution to a Chelsea problem, you know? And that's what he's trying to do. This is a club that has funds. This is a club that is used to winning. We can't in a space of 2 or 3 seasons, we can't go and just say, no, we're gonna build for 4 or 5 years, this and that. Nah, we are not that. Like, it's not in our DNA. And as much as Boyle means well, he's still an idiot. And for the fact that he's trying to get the Brighton guy in on it again, man, this guy, I don't know what you can say. I don't know what type of fool you can call Boily, but he's a special case. He's really a special case. He's single-handedly killing this club, bro. And it's like when America goes to like Iraq or an oil nation. That's what he's doing. He's just he's leaving a whole lot of dead bodies, and these dead bodies are these players' careers. I'm telling you right now, man. This is it went from Stanford Bridge to Afghanistan. True and true, bro. Like, for real, for real. Like, yo, the
Look,
man has no sense.
you
Hmm.
you can't go. We can't go for another Brighton coach. We just can't do that. Not even a coach, not a player from Brighton. We need to leave the club alone. I have absolutely no faith in their staff, in their players, none whatsoever. Not anymore, anyway.
Their recruiters, their recruiters at Chelsea, yeah? They're head of
Yeah,
recruiting,
yeah.
but what have we got? Like, what have we got except ex-Brighton players?
Hey man, we need to move away from that club, bro. I do not want any more of their resources anymore. I don't want it. I
Like,
mean, we are
bro, how
finally
does a
reaping the
billionaire
benefits. How does that?
How does a billionaire, a businessman, a man who has owned multiple teams, yeah, how does he go and pick from a mid-table team, bro? Like a team that just started being a mid-table team. Like Brighton, not even traditionally a mid-table team, yeah. Like,
Yeah,
they're not
true.
really that. It's just like recently that they started to perform. You know what I mean? But yo, you go and like, why aren't you looking at Real Madrid? Why aren't you looking at Bayern Munich? Why aren't you looking at, I mean, Bayern München, whatever they call it? Shout out all my German fans. But you know what I mean? Why aren't you not looking at which other successful club is that? Manchester City, and say, yo, they've won the Premier League a number of times. What are they doing? But you look at Arsenal, historic losers, no European pedigree at all. You look at Brighton, no European pedigree. Like, how, guys? Like, why is no one talking about this? How does a person with two eyes, senses, nose, ears, bro, all limbs, how does he go and do that, bro? Like, explain to me. Even the people in the chat, just explain to me. How does a billionaire go and do that historic mistake? Like, not even once, but continuously. Like, am I in a simulation, bro? Nah, man. I must be living in somebody else's dream. It's peak, guys. It's really peak.
Look, it's we if we go for Deserby, like the guys are saying here on the chat, we can't do that. Not Deserby. Like, no. I think we have already proven that this. I mean, look, he may have been some hot shit at the beginning of his tenure at Brighton, but that was primarily because he was playing with Potter's squad. That was all of Potter's labor. The fruits that he was reaping, they were all Potter's work.
Yeah.
I don't think he did much. He just found a squad that is fully formed, that was ready to win, that was that went through the trenches with this one coach. And don't get me wrong, Potter was the perfect coach for Brighton, and I could understand why it is that they went for Potter for Chelsea, right? At some point at the beginning of it all, just because of his philosophy and the way that he is with developing teams, right? Because we had a squad of, at that point when Potter was there, we still had some experienced players. We still had a lot of
Mm-hmm.
other players that we had won the Champions League with,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, they had been through a Thomas Tuchel era. And I mean, how do you go from Tuchel to Potter? It, it, it
Bro.
it's a bit of a skewed philosophy. It didn't make any sense to me. But yeah, he fell flat on his face, and we were seeing glimpses of how he could get the team going and how he could knit it to the way that he knitted Brighton to a point where we could become such a maybe a competitive club of a sort, but we would have never made it to that point because when De Zerbi took over Brighton, I think Brighton was like third or fourth in the league when he took over Brighton, which was all of Potter's work. It was just Potter that did all of that. And then he had to start over from scratch in a big club with huge expectations, and that didn't work out. So De Zerbi, now where is his team actually? Now that you have the open here, De Zerbi is now 11th with 3 losses, with one win in the last 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing better than him, and we have Pochettino.
See? And we have Pochettino.
You know what I mean? We're
Imagine
doing
that.
much better than him, and we have Pochettino, and people are twerking for this guy to come and coach Chelsea. That's not going to happen. It shouldn't happen. It honestly shouldn't happen.
Bro.
I do not want him in that club. I don't want him in Chelsea. Honestly, I don't want him there.
Bro. Honestly, I just need this man to sell this club. Give it to the Saudis, bro, because you can't tell me that Newcastle is being better run than Chelsea Football Club, like a club which had a structure. Like your Newcastle, they didn't have a structure. They literally had to come up and say, you know what, we need to get this guy in, we need to get this guy in, fix all the top level stuff. You know what I mean? But at Chelsea, the thing is that we already had that. You know what I mean? But the energy, the toxic energy coming from Boyle, like, listen, man, I know that cat. That cat is highly toxic. Like, don't see him smiling like that. Fam. That guy is highly toxic, yeah. So he came in with all this big boy cowboy, big boy cowboy energy. And then those guys weren't feeling it, respectfully. Marina and
Mm,
Czech, they're like, now, who's this clown? You know what I mean?
mm.
And they're like, okay, fine. If he wants to do it his way, we're gonna leave. You know what I mean? We're gonna leave. And you know what? They left. And now look at him. We can all see him for the clown that he is. You know what I mean? Like, yo, the guy is
Yeah,
not humble. Like, humble himself.
no, Americans are not known for humbleness. Let's be for humility. Let's be honest. A lot of Americans are
Mm.
not known for their humility. But I will give him some credit in a sense that he knows how to run a business. I'm not sure if he's a good enough football club owner. We're yet to see the you know we're yet to see how he actually does when he runs a football club. I mean, he has run a number of sporting clubs, but they're not necessarily traditional European football clubs, right? So from that perspective, maybe he took a certain approach that he thought would work. Honestly, even me in the beginning of at the beginning, I thought it was a great strategy. I just didn't think that it would take this long for it to bear fruit. I'm not even sure if it has bore fruit yet. So far, if we do make it to like top six at the end of the season, or we make it to, I don't think we'll make it to fifth position. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I think it's a little bit far fetched. But if we make it in the sixth position by the end of the season, uh, I would still call it a successful season. However, going into the new one, into the next season, and looking at how things are, and the way that we have a huge squad of players with big contracts, I don't see us going big in the transfer window again. I don't see that happening at all. It happened before. We got rid of what 30 players, if I'm not mistaken, in about two windows, which was a huge overhaul of players that we had to get rid of. I don't see that happening because we still have a lot of players with huge contracts and they're still young. So if you're going to put the same faith in the in the same players, a group of players, hopefully we don't get a lot of the injuries that we suffered this season. I think in the next season we might have better luck because this season we made it at this point in the 35th game after 35 games in the league. We actually made it to position 7, which is not our best. We shouldn't be competing for these kind of positions. But given the fact that we had what 7, 8 injuries every single game week, we've got to give these guys some bit of credit, for making it this far, especially the players that have made that have gotten us this far. And we have gotten lucky, to be honest with you. The fact that we have players like Cole Palmer going the extra mile and managing to you know take as much on their shoulders as they have with. I mean, Cole Palmer scored what, how many goals this season? 24, 25 goals in all competitions. That's a lot of goals for the first season, you know what I mean? And some assists also. I think about, how many assists is it so far? 12. I'm not entirely sure how many he has right now, but he's had a fantastic season, and he's brought us to this position, as well as all the other players that have actually chipped in and played very well. Like Moses Caicedo, for instance, he doesn't get a lot of credit. He plays fantastically well, almost gives his all in every game. But I will give the owner some bit of credit. He found some loopholes in the rules, and he took full advantage. Now look at us. We've got these kids stuck on 7-year, 8-year contracts, having been bought for over 100 mil, and now they're here, and probably within the next 5 or 6 years, these will be superstars. Maybe that's what they had in mind. I don't know, but we'll most likely cash in on them at some point. But yeah, we just need to win a trophy next season, 1 or 2 trophies if possible. That's anyways my opinion.
Bro, you've spoken really, really well, man. I appreciate you trying to save Boyle from this, mess. You know what I mean? For me, bro, for me, bro, let me tell you something. Like, I see Boyle just as I see, the situation in Gaza, bro. Chelsea is just Gaza, bro. Like, yo, my G, it's a genocide, my G. It's a genocide of talent. It's a genocide of talent. I'm telling you, like, yo, free Stamford Bridge, man, free Chelsea, bro. For real, like my club, bro. Like, man, I don't know, man. Like, this is just, it's a big, big error, man. I don't even know. Like, when is the last time Chelsea went back to back without winning anything, bro? Like, yo, this is wild. It's highly
I
wild.
don't think in the Abramovich era.
Yeah, like, yeah, under
That
Abramovich, yeah.
that has never happened.
And it's happening
That
under
never
this new
happened.
guy.
That never happened at all. We may
You
have gone
see?
a
Can you
season
guys
without,
hear me?
but back to back, no trophies.
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
Okay, I wanted to address some comments before we continue because they're getting loud here. So, from Chelsea Dan, right? Big up Chelsea Dan, my friend. I hope you're good. He says, if we get Deserbi next season, I'm done with Chelsea. Let Poch get his own players in the next season and see what he does in the next season. If not change, I think no thing than sack him, right? And also the other one says, okay, this is Zero. Say Deserve is in all that. He was reaping the benefits from Port. I agree. Also said from DJ Saif, okay, say the bro, the club owners don't know how to run the club. I can see protests before the start of the new season. Those clowns would not want this. Okay, another one from Chelsea then. He says, see it, mate. No, 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 no French language here. Please then. See it, mate. Says in at least bet from 11th from the beginning 7th and 5 points away from Spare going 6, right? Okay, another one from DJ Sef says, imagine guys, Poch says finish 6 and Deserbi finish 12 with Brighton and those clowns higher than Deserbi. Oh my gosh, we'll be disgraced. I agree with him. Also says, as if I said we get rid of Poch, those clowns will not have bring an elite gaffer. Hansi Flick, the only one out there that will not cost anything to bring him in part from the contract he gets. Says Thomas Tuchel does it not want to come back. Seems and personally I don't blame him, especially how he treats the first time. I think how he was treated in the first time when those clowns sacked him. Now we have Gavin in their house. Big up Gavin. We have JC. Oh man, JC. Big up JC, my friend. Yeah, guys, sorry about it. I think we can continue, but let's check on the table. Do you think that we can qualify for the Europa League? Tasca?
You know what I think? I think
Yeah.
without fixture list, I mean we got a good chance, honestly. But I wouldn't be surprised if Port found a way to mess it up. Like he has been doing that very, very well. But honestly, if these players believe in themselves, you know what I mean, they can do it. They can do it. And this team under Flick will be amazing. Yeah, so yeah, we can get Europa League, honestly, if the players are, you know, still up to it.
Zero, what do you think?
I think we do stand a good chance. Um, I mean the the fixtures that we have that are outstanding for the remainder of the season are not that bad, right? So we could make we could make a strong end to the season. Um, yeah, we do. You know, provided that we end the season strong, I think we could make it. And I see JC said that if United win FA Cup and finish below seventh, they will qualify, and sixth position goes to the Conference League. I mean, look, the Conference League is not that great of a competition. It's a little bit below Chelsea, um, especially with the history that we have in Europe. We already have four European trophies as well as a Club World Cup. Have we won a Super Cup before? We have won a Super Cup.
Yes. Under
The
Thomas
last
Tuchel.
time that we won, yeah, under Thomas Tuchel, we won the Super Cup and we won the Club World Cup. So we do have some huge legacy. I mean, it's I could say that it's better than most clubs. I mean, for instance, Spurs has never won a European trophy. Arsenal has never won a European trophy. Uh, and we with our standing fixtures, we stand a good chance of winning all three of them. Whether or not we'll be able to leapfrog Newcastle United, I don't know. I mean, they are 2 points ahead of us, and is that 2 points? Yeah, that's 2 points. They're only 2 points ahead of us.
Yes, 2 points.
And I mean, if they do lose or draw one game, that means we have to win all the games. And if we win all the games, Manchester United won't be able to catch up to us. That's for sure. So I hope City win the double this season. I don't want Arsenal winning the league. I can tell you right now. At all. I
Facts.
don't want Arsenal winning the league at all. Otherwise we'll never hear the end of it. So I don't want them winning the league at all. I don't want United winning the FA Cup for my own selfish reasons because I want to make Europa League. Should we win all the games in Newcastle fumble and they don't win a single game? We could say that Newcastle United is a better managed club of a sort of a better run club of to some degree. But I mean, having had a bad season that we have had as Chelsea so far this season, and still making it 2 points behind them with 3 games left. I mean, I guess it speaks volumes to some extent. You know what I mean? So Aston Villa is now what? How many points are they? 67 points. We are way too far from the fourth position, so we can't even aim for that position. We can't even get there. And yeah. I mean, I agree with you, JC. Newcastle are balling and they're in form right now, but that's just about it. I mean, if they do draw one game and we win all the rest of the games, irrespective of their form, we still make it above them. So they have had a better season in terms of goal scoring form, but they could have had a much better win percentage. They've won 17 games and lost 13. It is a cool game. It is a cool advantage. It's a bit of a okay advantage, and I mean they've scored 78 goals this season so far, which is great. And yeah, I mean, if we finish above them, I guess it says a lot about us and the mentality that we've had, especially with such a troubling season with injuries and things like that. Um, but should we go into the next season with a fully fit squad for at least more than half of the season, we stand a very good chance of winning at least a trophy. And if we do make it to a European competition, whether Europa or Conference League, we stand a good chance of winning that competition also. And I mean, you know our history of the Europa League. Every time we play it, we win it. We don't just go into a Europa League to lose it, we go in to win it. So if we do stand a chance to actually win the Europa League, I will take it. If we get into the Conference League, it's almost a guarantee that you're gonna win the Conference League. It's almost a guarantee. So yeah, so far we're turning out to look like a good team. And honestly, to be honest with you, I did not see us getting into Europe at all with the way that the season started, with the way that we have played even in the middle of the season. We were conceding far too many goals, and I never thought that we would be in this position, but here we are. We are here to talk about Europe even at this time of the season. This wasn't the kind of talk that we were having last season. We were worried about relegation at this point of the season last season. And now that we're here, considering things like Europe, it's great. So yeah, well, next 3 fixtures, we're looking at Nottingham Forest, Brighton, and Bournemouth. Two of them are away games, and the last game being the game at home. I think these are possible wins for me. I see us winning these games, especially against Brighton. I can't wait for us to play against Brighton and play better than them and beat them because they always think they're hot stuff. I don't like Brighton either. We need to stay away. I do not like Brighton either, not anymore. So yeah, it's the Tuskegee leave us. Is he?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Can you share the picture on your side? But
Uh,
also, I think you're right. The only chance that we're going to finish sixth or fifth, it's all about winning our games first. Also, maybe Newcastle lose one of their games, right? If they lose one of their games and we win all our games, we stand a chance. Also, in the FA Cup final, Manchester City beats Manchester United. So I still have a hope, right? Never say never. Let me
yeah, I
Tuskegee.
certainly have hope because I don't see Manchester City losing against Manchester United. That is still a Manchester derby. You know what I mean? There's a lot of history in that game, and they wouldn't want to lose it. And they are a team on fire also. They have a fully fit squad, fully fit De Bruyne, fully fit Foden, your Haalands, your Bernardo Silvas, your Jeremy Doku, your Jack Grealish. They have a fully fit squad. Your Rodri, your Kovacic when he comes on, all these guys fully fit. I don't see them losing against Manchester United. They're playing terrible football right now. So to be fair, I want City to win, and I want them to win the double. Let them win the champion, the not the Champions League, the FA Cup, and the Premier League, because I don't want Arsenal to win either. I certainly don't want Arsenal to win. That's just me. I don't want them to win at all. But they also look like they might, hmm, which would be interesting, really, if they do win. But yeah, let's see how that goes. Next three fixtures. First one on the 11th of May on Saturday. We're playing against Nottingham Forest in the evening. That will not be an easy game. They are also in the relegation battle, so they will try their absolute best to try and win it. And then we have Brighton on the next Wednesday at the Amex. I mean, I don't expect it to be an easy game, but you know, we shouldn't take them for granted. We need to go there aiming for the win, as well as lastly the game against Bournemouth at home at 5 o'clock. So that one is a definite must win. We're playing at home. We haven't lost at home in a while. We need to do that now. We need to win that game there. But over and above, looking at those three fixtures, it's very much possible for us to win all three. But fingers crossed.
Yeah, Taskaji, do you think we're going to win our last remaining games?
Yes, yes, yes. It's like a cheat code. I don't know, man. It's like it was rigged. It was rigged for Pochettino to play on, man. Just look at that. Nottingham, Brighton, Bournemouth. Oh my days. And you have you seen United's fixture list? I think they don't they face
They're
Arsenal?
playing Arsenal next, isn't it? Yeah, they're playing Arsenal next.
They play Arsenal, Newcastle, and then the last game, I'm not sure about it.
Let's see.
Yeah, man. Imagine that. And that's a team that says that they can finish above us. Like, hey, yo, that's wild, man. That's being more than optimistic, bro. They face a lot of hard teams. Even Brighton. You know, Brighton is a proper rival for United now. Like, yo, no cap.
Yeah, yeah. But the only
Like,
advantage they have is that two of those games are at home. So I can only wish that they win this one against Newcastle just for us to have an opportunity of finishing above Newcastle.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But I don't see
Yeah.
them winning against
oh,
Arsenal, and I don't see them winning against Brighton. If they lose this one, if they win this one, I mean, sorry, and Newcastle lose this game, we have an opportunity to go above Newcastle if
but
we
you
win
know,
all three
United
of
is the
them.
type of team not to do us any favors. You know what I mean, man? Like, it's that
Yeah,
type of team that can just lose all three. But yo, speaking of Newcastle, can you pop up Newcastle's fixture list?
yeah, sure. Let's
Let's
see.
see. Let's see
Newcastle
the
United.
devil in the details. Okay,
Okay,
Newcastle versus
Newcastle
Brighton.
has Brighton United and Brentford.
Brighton,
Ah,
United, and Brentford. Hey, damn, those are
those are
fairly easy
winnable
for
games for
Newcastle.
them.
Yeah, like,
Those are
and
winnable
they can
games for them.
like they can actually win. Like with us, it's 50-50 because you know Pochettino can wake up with amnesia about how to set up a team.
Yeah, for sure. He could disappoint us. I'm not even. Yeah, I'm not even ready for that. It's broken my heart a lot of times this season where I genuinely gave up on the game and said, "Nah, I'm not gonna watch this. Screw this.
Like
I'm not gonna
so,
at all."
I felt. You know that even the 5-0 win, like I didn't even watch that match, bro. Like I saw the scoreline, but my heart had enough, bro. Like you, do you know the pain of saying, okay, we won, and then you go into the next game with hopes and expectation, and you just see a whole lot of that, bro. Like you know what he does, and you just see him in his mood, in his spirit, feeling us, like, bro,
Yeah,
like naturally after this high we're gonna go so low. We're gonna go so low. The players are gonna look disjointed. They're gonna look like they're confused. Like, brother, I don't even know what's happening, bro, on Stamford Bridge. Like,
I,
do they
I,
need prayers, bro?
I, I think we're going to go higher now because some players are coming in, and then like we've been playing the same player, I think for 4 games now in a row. So you see consistency there, and then Noni is getting there. Cole Palmer's Cole Palmer. Jackson is more hungry now, and we are seeing the combination between Noni, Jackson, and Cole Palmer. Mudrik, just we are seeing only clips. So overall, I think we're going there. So let's finish the league higher, right? Win our remaining 3 games, and then the rest is history. Then I will say, okay, Mauricio Pochettino, you tried. Let the owners assess you, right? So personally, if I said it, if you don't qualify for the Europa League, unfortunately, bro, adios. But I don't want Deserve Chelsea. We'd rather keep Poch than Deserve. So I think there's a good question here from JC, right? Say, guys, do you think Mauricio Pochettino will stay? I don't know to you guys.
I think he will stay.
I think
I
it's
think
gonna go.
Pochettino will stay. I don't think he's gonna go. I think he's gonna stay because they're finally getting what they wanted from this man with regards to the team playing as well as it does together as a collective. So I think he stands a good chance of staying at least for another season. Because one thing I understand about the philosophy of the new owners is that they would like to get some consistency going, right? So the reason why Chelsea never really dominated, even in the Abramovich era, is the fact that we were interchanging managers. So we never really had a consistent run of domination like Manchester United prior and Manchester City doing so now. They want that. They want that kind of structure that the Man Uniteds and the Manchester Cities of the world have actually gone and done in the Premier League. They want a consistent run of winning the Premier League. I mean, we've never won 3 Premier Leagues in a row. We've only made it twice, 2 Premier Leagues in a row, twice, I think, right? 05, 04, 05, 05, 06, and it was no, it wasn't 08, 09, was it? What season was it where we made a double also? I think it was that time when Carlo Ancelotti was our coach. Am I mistaken?
Still not sure.
Did we double twice? No. Did we? Let me think.
No, I think Arsenal didn't win double. He won the league in the first. Oh yeah, we won double. Yeah, we won double. I agree.
Yeah, I think we did win double. 09, 08, 09. No, not 10 and 11. Shit, I forget. I totally forget. But anyway, I need to go back on our stats and I need to confirm that. But as it stands, I think I genuinely feel as though he might stay. I don't look. I'm half and half on this whole thing. Taskeju wants him to go. That's why he says he thinks he's not going to stay because he really wants him to go. But just looking at things, you know, I, I've kind of liked Podge as a groomer of young boys. Um,
you, 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 you know what will help Mauricio Pochettino right at the moment? No matter
mm,
whether we finish in Europa League or Conference League, he haven't lost the dressing room, which is a good thing for
yeah,
him
which is a good thing
because
for him. Mm.
Yes, because most of the time, if the coach lost the dressing room, there's a sacking for him. So I think most of the players like him. You can see on the Chelsea app or Chelsea reporters and stuff talking, reposting what the players are talking, are saying about Mauricio Pochettino. Even Medon Modishile said it, I think it was yesterday, right? Talking about Mauricio Pochettino. So I think most of the players like him, appreciate him. So overall, I think he can stay, and then also he can claim his case. Say, oh, okay, I know this isn't, I didn't meet your expectations, right? But at least help me, meet me halfway, give me another season. Let's see what we can do next season. This season, I had so many injuries, and also I asked you some few players, you didn't sign him, sign them, right? Can you sign a few experienced players? Or, for example, you can see now Jackson missing a lot of chances. Can we add a top striker, maybe Victor Smith, something like that? Can we add another quality midfielder that can help Enzo, Moses Caicedo, Conor Gallagher, those kind of things? Because at the same time, you don't know whether Romeo Lavia next season will be fit again. So there's a risk there. So I think he still have his case. But overall, I think the club should have a better plan. If they sack Mauricio Pochettino, I hope you're bringing someone is better than him. If not, don't sack him. We don't want to downgrade, right? So hopefully they make the correct decision at the end of the season. But like I said, if you qualify for the Europa League, man, I'll take him for the next season. I'll swallow my pride. Okay, let's go again. But please don't be a flip flop. Change your system, change your tactics. Also, don't play players out of position, which most of the fans are hating it. Look at now, players are playing their best position. You can see what they are doing now. We are cooking. 5-0 against West Ham, 2-0 against Tottenham Hotspur. So clearly, there's a change there. So next season, don't bottle it, mate. So Taska G, can you have
Yo,
at least? Can you at least have a sorry, a sorry your pride, man? Can you give Poch another season?
oh no, bro, no, bro. We need this man out by yesterday, bro. Like by yesterday, he needs to leave this club. Guys, imagine. Okay, let's just look at our previous managers, right? We've got very technical players. Of all these
Exactly.
technical players, right? Of all the managers that we've had, like who would get the most out of these players? Will it be Conte? Will it be Lampard? Will it be Jose? Will it be Tuchel? Or will it be Maurizio Sarri? What do you guys think?
Not a
The,
single
the,
one of them. Not one.
Yeah.
the
I don't think
like
any one of those
technical
coaches
players.
would get the best out of these players. Not one of them.
I think
Not
Maurizio
one of
Sarri.
them.
You know
Not
what
even.
you know why I say Maurizio Sarri?
Mm,
Sarri didn't win anything until he came to Chelsea, where he had genuinely better players, where he had genuinely a better squad. Yes,
yeah.
the thing about Sarri, yeah, you know that guy. You know what I mean? He's my, he's my homie. You know what I mean? Thing that you don't understand about my good friend Maurizio Sarri is that he didn't want to compromise on the midfield engine, and now we've got a better player in, and what's his name, Enzo. I feel like Enzo is a much better player than Jorginho. I think Sarri would love him. I think he'll be Sarri's boy. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And we've got young players. The benefit of having young players is that you can mold them into what you want. And you know, Sarri,
Exactly.
he's a hard guy. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't, he's not one of those. He says do this and keep on doing it and keep on doing it. Look at Hazard under Sarri. Like yo, this guy was scoring goals for fun. You know, he left. Sarri got us that Hazard money. You know what I mean? That 140 million. That was down to Sarri. I mean, you guys can hate on him, but that was down to Sarri. You know what I mean? Playing what do you call? It was a 4-3-3, yeah, but it was a
Yes,
four
for
foot in the
Tabitare.
sky. In disguise, it was a 4-4-2, playing it off Giroud, doing his thing. Guys, I'm telling you, Maurizio Sarri's got unfinished business at this club. And if we can get any other manager, I would love Sarri. I would love Sarri at this club. Like, guys, do you know the pattern of play in attack that we had under Sarri was magical. It was magical. The way we beat Arsenal in that final, come
It
on,
was
guys.
almost sad.
Say it.
Look, you remember Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Hassan Adui and Asari? Oh my gosh, those players were doing very well.
He was born again, I'm telling you. Sorry, in fact, don't forget, guys, Sari was never sacked. He walked out on the club. He walked out on the club. The man he's got balls, you know what I mean? He's got honest, you know what I mean? He's like, nah, I don't like this. I don't feel this, and I'm a finna dip. And he dipped on us, you know what I mean? He got the title, but he dipped. And that takes a man with balls, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but why would you want the coach like that to come back? He's the one that left. Why would you want him
He's
to
the
come
one
back?
that left, but also because we were not ready to appreciate what he was giving. The man was giving us gems. You know, to be fair, he was giving us gems, just giving us all that, and we didn't know. Now look at us, we're out here, we're in the trenches, we're in the gutter, the muck at the end of the barrel, you know what I mean? We're with Pochettino, you know what I mean? The man ain't got no pedigree, he's got nothing, and that's what we're stuck with. Now we're going from Pochettino to Potter to Deserve. Look at guys, just look like we cannot be choosers. We are beggars at this point. Chelsea Football Club. We're literally begging to say, come to our club. You know what I mean? That's why I think we need Jose Mourinho to top it all off. We need
No, no,
Jose
no,
because
no,
Jose
no,
is going to come
no,
and
no,
say,
no, no.
listen, get me this, get me that. And Jose is very vocal. I need a manager who's just vocal. I don't need these toothpaste type of
But,
managers, you know what I mean? That just, hey, yo, they don't got
but
any game, you know what I mean? I need a manager who can stick like super glue, you know what I mean, fam? You can stick like that super glue, you know what I mean? That adhesive, fam, you know what I mean? Because these toothpaste managers, fam, they don't got anything. You know what I mean? We need that manager who's hard. You know what I mean? We need Hansi Flick. We need Jose Mourinho. We need Maurizio Sarri. We need just a manager who can get his philosophy into the players. You know what I mean? We don't need historic losers, guys. Poch- Pochettino won't win a trophy with us. He's cursed. He has his own battle. He's got his own demons. He's got his own ancestors that he's not appeasing, and he wants to bring that baggage to Chelsea. So I know you guys are very spiritual people. You understand all this stuff right now that I'm talking about. That you know that man, he's not appeasing his ancestors, and that's why he has won nothing. You know what I mean? He has
yeah,
won nothing.
we have Bobby on the panel, bigger Bobby. So I'm gonna hit you with this question, right? Do you think Mauricio Pochettino deserve to stay next season? Also, just give us a brief about the game we played against West Ham on Sunday. What is your thoughts about that game?
Yeah, big up. Oh gosh. Hang on, let me. Big up, guys. Big up. Oh gosh, I'm forgetting your name now. Look at me. You got to remind me because the voice, and this is the first time I'm actually seeing you in person. Oh gosh,
TT
Samuel.
and Pascal
Vega,
G.
Vega,
Samuel is his name.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Vega. Yeah, that's. I knew I was just having a bozo moment, like some of our
Yeah.
defenders. Um, yeah, I mean, first of all, um, let me say this: Pochettino's past two home results against massive Chelsea rivals, and with such convincing wins, cannot do his case to continue as manager next season any harm. We cannot, more due to the fact that it underlines the fact that you cannot divorce Chelsea's difficulties this season from the massive, unprecedented injury list of many key players, mind you, to the squad, that any team in world football would have suffered. Most would, not least to mention that this man has had to do this with young players, new players, many of which haven't played in the Premier League before, vis-a-vis our friend Mr. Jackson, who eventually has developed well, has done well, has scored more goals in his first season than Didier Drogba, in a worse team than Didier Drogba played in. And he missed an absolute hatful. So, had he been more clinical, had he been mature enough to be more clinical, this could all have been a very, very different story. Look, I wasn't a massive Pochettino fan. I didn't like the Spursy feel about him at all. But um, I've got to face reality, and I've got to see things for what they really are. And I think, in terms of the youth of the team, I think, in terms of what he's done already, I think the evidence of the past two games, I believe it would be almost foolish not to give him another crack of the whip. What we need to do is focus vehemently on having players fit, especially key players fit for next season to give us a full season. And the only way to do that is for Chelsea fans to stop complaining about, oh, he's not playing, oh, why is he on the bench, yada, 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 and sit down and become mute when people like Alvarez are constantly scoring goals, when Calvin Phillips is in the stands and was eventually farmed off on loans and is still not playing. We've got to understand that successful modern football requires the gift of the manager to rotate. I think this man can do this with these players. These kids are playing for him. We have the youngest team in the Premier League, the second youngest team in top flight European football, after what's that French team? It's not Lille, it's not Strasbourg. Oh, I've forgotten their name now. But after them, and they're only like point zero something of a few months behind us, and we would have been the youngest team in the top European leagues had we not had Thiago Silva, who considerably raised our age average, being 39 going on 40, and the third choice goalkeeper, I think, is about 33 now. That's what raised the age up. If not, we would have by a country mile being the youngest team. I would go as far as to say not only in the top flight leagues in European football, we would certainly be challenging for the youngest team in professional football in the world. Full stop. So we've come with an almighty project. We've had to scratch everything and totally rebuild. And I have to say, Poch is right. There is not a single manager that would be able to do this without being given time. You need time. You need time to implement your ideas. These children need to understand how to play, not only in the Premier League, but the way you want them to play. Modric has shown us evidence that he is a player that is undergoing serious development. He needs to be coached individually, not to mention in the team. Jackson, he has improved considerably, but his finishing still has a way to go. People like to hate him, but I think Gallagher has improved a step further under Pochettino. People may say,
Sorry, let me add something on there about Jackson, and this is something that most of us don't talk about as well. He's the second highest goal scorer in Chelsea this season. Second,
there you go,
and he's having a bad season. Second, by
there
the
you
way. Sorry,
go. So
continue.
you know the potential of this team is out of this world. Had we had our Nkunkus to rely on, to which I must add, the blueprint of this team was based upon, had we had our captain Championship was that we were expecting him to be available. Had we had any semblance of fitness of Ben Chilwell, people are talking about experience. These are the experienced players we were going to rely on, along with Thiago Silva at the back. Had we had these players, not to mention the likes of Lavia, not to mention the likes of Wesley Fofana, who has been injured for 2 seasons, to be honest, that guy, we need to really sort out what's going on with him. Carney Chukwemeka, a very, very special player, in and out with injury. We need to sort this. Had we had any of those, later on we started losing players like Levi Colwell to injury. Even Cucurella himself had missed many months due to injury. We were carrying minimum 8 injuries every single game, on average at times up to 14. Once a couple of weekends ago we had 17. I think the Arsenal game we had 17. Who, I must add, all these people waxing lyrical, oh, Arsenal is so great, and Arsenal have never faced a full Chelsea team since the Europa Cup final, and we know what happened there. We have never had our complement of a side, but they have always had the complement of their side. Arsenal were only without one player injured when they faced us, so their drubbing really, I don't think it's anything for us to, or anything for them to be particularly proud of. Another issue here is, look, if you look at our injuries, we have had exponentially twice as many players off injured than any other team in the Premier League. Let that sink in. So all this makes a case for Mr. Pochettino. I would like to see him operate with a full team, integrate that team, integrate his methods. Then we can say what he's all about. If he had his complete itinerary to work with, and he was still, doing all his bozo away games at Sheffield United and so on, and at Middlesbrough, then our criticism is valid. Just to conclude, I'll say this to say this: his last 3 games are going to be really, really important for him and indeed for Chelsea Football Club. Win those three, and European place is practically guaranteed, especially with Man United falling flat on their face last night. Start wobbling, which the team is very capable of doing. We go to Nottingham Forest, big, strong, powerful players, good in the air, taller than us. That has been a problem for us this season. We don't quite have enough of our injuries back to be able to say, okay, Nkunku can play in this game. And by the way, I'm not really happy to see Nkunku around. I want him off, away. I don't want him to get fit to go off and get injured for the French national team in the Euros. I want him to be fit for Chelsea. He's contracted to Chelsea. Chelsea pay his wages. Let us tell the French, hey, look, this guy needs to get well. Once he's well and playing for us, then you can have him for your national team. But this time, we've got to get him fit for a full season at Chelsea. So, having said that, these 3 games are crucial for Chelsea and for Pochettino. But at the end of season appraisal, which will need an appraisal of the entire Chelsea Football Club, including the competencies of the medical staff, let's not go there right now, but that has to be looked into, because the big problem with our injuries is not that players are getting injured, is that they're not coming back. This is what has been said on many platforms, in the media. These guys are going away months and months and months and months. They come back for 35 minutes like Lavia, and they're season. That is a problem. Why is that? What is going on that the medical advice is not being filtered correctly to the coaching staff for them to give a rotational rest for these players? Why was Ben Chilwell left to the England team to go and play back-to-back games only to come back injured again? So all this has to be looked into. Our purchasing of a striker and all those other key players. I don't think we need to buy more than 1 or 2 players anyway for this squad. We just need to get people fit. Needs to be looked into. So our sporting directors are not absolved from responsibility for how this season has gone. So there's going to be a full comprehensive appraisal. But back to Mr. Pochettino, at that appraisal, I think think he can present enough mitigating circumstances for us to actually realize very, very far between, especially with Premier League experience. I'll drop.
Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate it. We also have DJ Seth here. DJ, welcome to
Yeah,
the panel.
big up to big up everyone on the panel, man. It's always great
Big up,
speaking to you,
DJ.
brother. It's always good speaking to you guys. How do I beat that, man, Bobby? Man, you more or less stole every bit of what I wanted to come out and say, bro. You just gone like just beat everything of it, bro. Now listen, mate. My take
I'm
on
sorry, bro.
Pochettino.
I know you
No,
got your
no,
point.
no. Oh no, bro. Listen, my take on Pochettino, Bobby. I think everyone knows my take on Pochettino and what I feel. But at the end of the season, I've always said it. All this situation is just not on Poch. You have to look at what's above, right down to the coaching staff, to the medical team, to what's going on with our players. And I've always said it. What's always doubted me about Pochettino is the fact that he's not what I call a serial winner. But I can also understand that we don't have serial winners in our team. However, if you want to try and build a team, and people are saying, "Oh, for these youngsters, it's maybe he's probably the best option to bring that in." I just think there are other gaffers out there that we can bring in, and I'm adding De Zerbi to that because I don't want to see this guy anywhere near my football club. Even if I'd rather have Poch for a season, another year, than bring in De Zerbi. But going on to what you were just saying, it hasn't helped. Injuries have not helped, I've got to say. I mean, I have to look at the coaching staff, the medical team, and say what has gone on. These owners, again, have more or less sacked majority of all our medical team. You have to ask why they've gone and done that. They then tried to bring somebody back from the medical team who's worked for the club for over 20 years to put him on a what do you call it, basis, on a work as you go basis, just to bring him back to the football club. So for me, there's a lot these owners need to answer for, and I always said the buck starts with them, to be honest with you, and what's going on, because from a team that we were under Thomas Tuchel to what we are now, and how they've gutted us out of all our experienced players, to what we are now, it all comes down to these guys. But what I will say is, in the last couple of games, from a season that has been really, really bad, as we all know, Chelsea fans have been watching it, we've actually found some form. And Poch is starting to get a kick out of these players now, maybe finding the right positions for these players that he wasn't doing before. And now we find ourselves lying seventh in the league at this moment in time. Okay, he's got us to obviously a cup semi-final, a cup final as well. It would have been nice to have won one of them, but it's never happened. It didn't happen, so we have to move on from that. But for myself, in total, we need to more or less now see where we go with these last 3 games to the end of the season. These last 3 games are vital, and I think this is going to be the be-all and end-all of Poch's season come the end of the season with his assessment. And obviously the owners will take it from there. But hopefully we'll get to a European spot.
Hopefully, we don't get De Zerbi.
Bruv, nah, please, bruv, nah, mate. Nah, like I said, I'd rather Poch stay Tobago than bring in this guy, De Zerbi, man. We don't want any more Brighton staff come to our football club, bro. Seriously.
Yeah, I agree with you. So guys, I just want to ask you this, right? All of you, because every time we win a game without Enzo Fernandez, we hear a lot of stuff saying, "Oh, now we're playing better about Enzo Fernandez. He should not play any game and stuff." So I just want to ask you, what is your thoughts about those rumors or reports? Even Sky Sports yesterday, they said that. So it's annoying me that even Sky Sports are talking about this kind of things. So I just want to ask you, from Teru, Taskaji, Bobby, DJ Sef, what is your thoughts about Enzo Fernandez without playing at Chelsea now? We are doing better. Do you think now we are playing better without him, or should we add him to the squad for him also to perform better?
Can I go first on this one, Tobago? My thoughts on Enzo. I think everyone knows that's listened to me on streams. I've always come out and said it. Enzo Fernandez, to me, is a class player. He's just been used wrongly. I feel in Poch's system. Everyone knows that last season before Poch came in under Graham Potter, the guy was performing well. That's because he had experienced players around him. If you look at the players that he had around him that left the football club, Kante, Kovacic, Jorginho, okay, all these players, Mount, all these players that were around him in that midfield, he had the experience there. But what these owners obviously gone and done is obviously because of whatever reason or another, they've had to gut our gutters out and get rid of all our experienced players. Enzo's being played as that player now to be the guy to the goal, the guy for the guy for all the place to go to make something happen. Now, for me, look, I think there's a lot in Enzo's game. I've seen a lot of him to realise, and people say, "How do you know this?" As you know, to I'm Portuguese. I watch a lot of the Portuguese league. I watch a lot of Enzo from the Portuguese league, and I thought he was I thought he was brilliant. He was one of Benfica's up and coming best players. I'm glad we just got him. And the reason why he cost the money that he cost is because had we gone and waited another season for him, he would have a choice of other clubs at that particular time that he could have gone to. It's just that our owners once again went and ruined a deal. That my understanding was that Vivell, who was our previous guy that was there before he was sacked, he had a deal actually all wrapped up for Enzo at 80 million or 70 million on a 5-year contract. But because it was a 5-year contract, these owners wanted more. They wanted him to get on an 8-year contract. So Bally went started to get involved in the deal. And they ended up spending 107 million on the guy on an 8-year contract or a 7-year contract. So, for me, look, and now people are now saying, okay, Enzo's been having bad games. He's not been the player that we all know, the player that he was in Benfica, the player that won the World Cup. Look, I'm not going to come onto this guy. I'm going to give the guy a seat. I'm going to give him time. He's obviously clearly was carrying a hernia injury, which he's now had an operation on. And I can see him coming back strong in that midfield next season alongside the likes of Alavia and Caicedo next season. I just think Chelsea fans and all these, some Chelsea fans out there, and a lot of these so-called experts out there that seem to want to call on these players like Enzo is because you wouldn't hear the guy like Warnock, who I understand came out with these comments yesterday on Sky, who was a former Liverpool player, may I add, coming out and saying Chelsea do better without Enzo Fernandez. I tell you what, had Liverpool had a crap season with Enzo, and do you honestly and truly think this guy will be coming out and saying, people have to have that conversation with Enzo? He won't. It's only because he's at Chelsea. They want this guy out of the football club, and I really hope that he doesn't go anywhere, because I've got a feeling that a lot of rival fans, when they start talking about a particular player at Chelsea, they're more or less scared of that player because they know what this player is going to deliver when in the right position, obviously playing in the right position with the right manager. They know what this guy's going to deliver. So for myself, I think Enzo needs to be given time. I think he'll become good next season. And I just think that fans need to just get off his back for a little bit and let him just ball out, as we know he can do. And I'll also say the same thing about Reece James. Anyone hoping that Reece James is going to come back after a bad injury, he's had that operation as well. I really hope people will give this guy time to come back to the fray again, because I can see people getting on Reece James's back as well. People have got to understand that he had a bad injury like his sister did, Lauren. And we all know when she had the operation, we all know what a player she's turned out to be for the Chelsea ladies team. So Enzo, for myself, Reece James is the same situation. He's had that bad injury. Obviously, we won't see him till the end of the season as well. Hopefully, we see him in the new season when it starts, and he becomes good as well. But yeah, that's what I have to say on that, mate.
And then our fans did the same thing with Beran Barishila, remember?
Yes.
Oh, Barishila is a great player. We should sell him, blah, blah. And look at him now. He's performing.
Spot on.
So I think, yes. So, Tseho, what is your thoughts about it?
Firstly, I mean, I didn't get to welcome Bobby and DJ Sav, so I mean it's a pleasure for you guys to join the panel today. First thing,
big up, bro. Thank you.
My thing about Enzo is that you know how I feel about him. My opinion about Enzo has not changed in a mighty long time. He's a fantastic footballer. Perhaps he hasn't had that type of relationship that we would have wanted with Moises Caicedo, and I mean maybe it hasn't worked out because of the amount of gaps that we leave in midfield whenever he's on, and because he's such a forward-thinking player, He's not necessarily as much of a runner as Gallagher is, and we play better with Gallagher on the pitch because he frees up Moises Caicedo a lot. And we know that Moises is a box-to-box type of player. He's the type of player that wins the ball literally anywhere on the pitch. And we need that kind of player. We've always needed that kind of profile or caliber of a player for us to be champions. We've always needed that. We've needed N'Golo Kante. We've needed Makaleli at some point. We've needed quite a lot of these kind of players to do all of that for us. Your Ramirez's, all these other players that we've had in Chelsea, as well as who's this guy that I'm forgetting? Miguel, who used to take so much control of the game, and people thought he was playing boring football, but we always knew the kind of value that he had in the club. So Moises is pretty much the same kind of player, same caliber of player rather, with as the pretty much the same as Kante, with the fact that he's a box to box and he wins the ball anywhere on the pitch and he runs all over the pitch. He's that fantastic of a player. He's fantastic. He's great. So with partnering him with a player like Enzo will always take some time for them to link up. And I mean, look at the first time he came to Chelsea in January, during the January transfer window. He played some fantastic football from the time he came until the end of the season. So we can't now come here and say that we are winning because he's out of the team. I will not give our winning form right now without him in the team. I will not make it him I will not make him the reason that we're losing or we're winning these games. And whenever he's in the team, is the reason that we're losing. I mean, the game that we won against Aston Villa in the FA Cup, was it FA Cup or was it Carabao Cup? I'm not entirely sure. The 3-1 win that we had won against Aston Villa at Aston Villa's home. We had him in that was the FA Cup, yeah. We had him in that team. That was one of the best games I've seen him play, really. He was completely involved in almost everything, the kind of passing range that he has. We know what kind of quality he actually brings to the team, which is fantastic. So I'm not going to come here and say that he's not the type of player that Chelsea needs. He will be in Chelsea anyway. He cost 100 million. He cost 100 million to come and join us. Of course, he's going to be there. You know what I mean? He's going to be our player. He was bought for the future. He's part of the project. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, if I was to guess, I'd say that he's one of the few players that have actually kickstarted the project to begin with, because he's one of the first ones to ever come, right? So for me, Enzo is just one of the players. He will come right. Maybe he does not fit properly within Poch's philosophy and the way that he plays him. That's okay, but he will come right. He's a fantastic footballer. His mentality is fantastic. It's out of this world. He is that boy. And what we need to also understand is that, like Bobby said earlier, it's the fact that we had so many injuries this season that we haven't really given him the time to even relax between games. He had played alongside Moises Caicedo for a very long time, and that was around the time when Pochettino was still trying to figure himself out, because we were having so many injuries and the players around them were always interchanging because of the injuries, not because we had enough depth in the squad, but because we had to change those players because of the injury issues that we've had and all that other jazz. The suspensions also, we shouldn't ever forget that, because of the behavioral issue that we had in the team, the yellow cards that we've been getting. All of that has subsided, right? We're getting a lot of these players back. I mean, like DJ Sav was saying earlier, the fact that he doesn't want to see. No, I think it was Bobby actually that mentioned that he didn't want to see players like Nkunku coming back, because he comes on for a few games, then he goes back out injured, things like that. We need a fully fit squad. We know how talented the team is. We know exactly the kind of squad that we have. We know the potential that these boys have. The fact that we've only had Reece James for about 5 games an entire season, and he hasn't even been contributing at all because of his injuries, is a point in fact. And he's not the only one. I think in total we've had about 5 or 6 games ago, we had about 47, 48 different injuries in the squad this season so far. These are just different injuries. Player gets injured, one injury, the different type of injury comes back, he gets injured again, different type of injury comes back, different type. 48 Now it might be more. We most likely would have about 50, 52, 53. I haven't really checked the numbers yet, but we've had various and vast amount of injuries so far, and it's quite unfair to judge everybody on the season that we've had, particularly the coach. And that's what I've been preaching pretty much the entire time we've been having these streams, is that the only time I will actually judge Pochettino is if he has had the greatest opportunity of coaching a team that is fully fit, or at least 80% fit, 85% fit. Then only then I can say, okay, cool, he fumbled, he failed to win a trophy, we did not even make any progress whatsoever. But the fact that we're progressing now, even with our current circumstances, I think he does deserve to get that shot. But with Enzo, we need to protect him because he's our superstar, he's our star boy. Even when he came, he became the poster boy immediately as he came. I'm not sure if that happened because of his price tag, but essentially, I would not give the fact that we're winning games because he's out of the team. Once he comes back, we will still continue to win games. I genuinely feel like that. So yeah, he's a superstar. I really don't care what all the other Chelsea fans have to say about him. You may have bad words to say about him because you want to push your own agendas. That's cool, but I think he's our boy. He's definitely our poster boy. I can tell you right now.
G, it's up to you now.
Hey yo, shout out Bobby, shout out DJ.
Big up, bruv.
Hell yeah, my G. Glad to have you guys here. You know what I think? I think you guys are correct. For once, we can all agree on something. Enzo is a star. It's not his fault that there's a lunatic who's running the club. It's not his fault that players are getting injured around him. I'm not sure. One of you mentioned that he played a lot of football. I'm not sure if it's you, bro. That he played a lot of football. The World Cup, going into Chelsea, going into his previous team. The guy played a lot of football, to be honest. But the difference between him and Mason Mount is that I think he still got that quality. But Mason, I don't know. I mean, Mason Mount is still a good player, but there's something in him. I feel like he's now lacking a bit of confidence, yeah? A bit of confidence. But Enzo's, I feel like he still got that confidence, He still got that belief in himself. And you're going to see it when he goes to his national team. I mean, he's going to ball out, as you guys are saying. He's going to perform, you know what I mean? Yeah, anyone who's has an agenda against Enzo is probably a Mason Mount fanboy. Anybody who's against Enzo probably loves Jorginho. These guys are just anti-progress, and nobody should be listening to them at all. And I can't wait until Pochettino leaves this club. The day Pochettino leaves this club, I'm telling you, we're gonna see beautiful football. Imagine unlocking the power of Enzo Fernandez. Running things from deep, deep in midfield, bruv. This is what we need to see. And I've got no regrets, man. Pochettino doesn't deserve anything. He deserves less than nothing. He's a deceiver. He's a scammer. He's a liar. He's everything that is bad with this club. Mm. The injuries, we won't forgive him for that. These things, they happen. It's part of football. It's life. It happens. But what he's supposed to do in a game is pick the right players for each position. That's the bare minimum that we are asking of him. Pick the right players in each position. Don't start defensively, start offensively. Not switching from defense to offense when you're left with like 70 or 80 minutes. Nah, it won't slide on this platform. It won't slide on any other platform. This guy has a Tottenham mentality. He doesn't deserve the Chelsea job at all. It doesn't matter how good he is with young kids. It doesn't matter how good he is with development or anything like that. He doesn't deserve it, period. Harry Kane was class before and after Pochettino. Son was class before and after Pochettino. Apart from these two, and Modric and Bale, these are players who prove that they could do it without him. But if you show me players who can be worse without him, then they say, okay, fine. Maybe it was because of the manager. But other than that, Pochettino hasn't done enough. He hasn't proven enough. He's a tale of almost, you know what I mean? But nobody's gonna remember a game of seconds. And Chelsea fans, we don't like seconds. We like to win. We like to be number one. And thank you.
Yeah, it's up to you, Bobby. But before that, I think we have 7 minutes left to wrap up the show, and then we'll see whether we do another stream tomorrow or not. I'll let you know, guys.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'll just keep it to Enzo for the sake of time and repetition about Poch and so on. But Enzo, you see, the Chelsea fan base, sorry to keep sounding correctionary, but we have to stop looking at things in absolute forms. Football now is a squad game. Well, certainly top flight football, winning football is a squad game. Real Madrid, if Modric goes off and they're winning, then they don't come out and say, "Oh, we're winning now because Modric's not here," or "We're winning better because Modric's not here." If Vinicius Junior goes off and they start, scoring more goals, you'll never hear their fan base say, "Oh, Vinicius is not here. Maybe he's the cause of us not scoring more goals." Football's a squad game. Enzo Fernandez, excuse me, Enzo Fernandez has been carrying an injury since last year, maybe even before last year. If social media is to be believed, he's carrying that injury since the end of the World Cup and has been due an operation since then. It was only Chelsea's injury situation helped the team because we have three midfielders that we're playing more or less the whole season. Caicedo, Gallagher, and Enzo. Now, after we were out of the cups, Enzo saw an opportunity, or rather, the management saw an opportunity to let him have his much needed surgery, and he's gone for it. Now, it has, in my view, unlocked another option. You must be able to keep winning and performing without certain players. And if the injury list this season has taught us anything, it is just that. Malagusto has proved himself in the absence of Reece James. Had Reece James been fully fit and not been a injury prone suspect, we may never have gotten to appearances. Now we have various options in the midfield now. We don't all has played too much for recent times. The World Cup, in fact, he hadn't rested since the World Cup. He went back to Benfica, then to Chelsea, then all the internationals. He's been playing constantly. So this rest, I think, will do him good. The option to rotate him, I think, will do him good. Enzo Fernandez is a fabulous player. He really is. If used in his correct role. These kind of players need protectors. You need your energy of in order to be able to express himself and in order certainly to allow Caicedo. Why the double six pivot is becoming more noticeable in his absence was back then what we were doing, perhaps erroneously, was instead of putting Gallagher in the pivot with Caicedo and shifting Enzo further forward, we were putting Gallagher further forward to break up the attacks in the opposition's half and dropping Enzo back. Now, that may not have been a wrong tactic because even now he kind of does that because of the inversion of Cucurella. Cucurella is acting as the left wing back stroke DM, the sitter, and that allows Gallagher to go forward and do his destroying thing further up the down midfield, destroying players that he is. The difficulty of the Premier League is that teams are studied. And if you're a team like Chelsea, you're studied even more. The media study you and leak your tactics to the opposition because they want to see you beaten. We even have the officials against us, but that's a different topic. I won't go into that now. And if you're not able to continue recreating, reinventing yourself, especially in game, you will suffer and you will be found out. The inversion of Cucurella has actually taken teams by surprise, certainly West Ham and Spurs, because they weren't really expecting us to do that. Why Chelsea, when Chilwell and reached deadly and indeed were top of the league until they both went off injured last season or maybe even the season before, after we won the Champions League with them playing this way, is because as wing backs, they used to invert into midfield constantly and alternately, and it's impossible to plan for. That, coupled with their own talents and natural gifts anyway, made Chelsea just flying with the opposition. And the perfect example of that was when we battered Juventus 4-0. They had no response to that sort of football. So in having one player that can invert is great. What people are also forgetting to recognize is that the the beauty of Malagusto was he inverts as well. But the difference between Malagusto and Cucurella is that he inverts into the midfield going forward. So he adds himself as an additional 10 stroke additional 8 in game, depending on how much offense we need to execute on the opposition. And it's very confusing for them. Also added to the fluidity of the front three anyway. I remember being on a platform and now saying, look, I wasn't sure what was going to happen with West Ham, but as with Villa, as with Tottenham, and clearly as with West Ham, one thing opposition teams really cannot deal with this Chelsea is the movement. When we're on song and we've actually got our rhythm and our game plan together, we're very difficult to play about. These guys are everywhere. Jackson, he drops into the midfield. He's left wing. He's right wing. Same with Palmer. Even Modric. That whole movement is very difficult to play. And you have gaps in your defense. That is we're going to be a very, very dangerous team indeed. And there is a place in this team. Regular than rotated, depending on the opposition. But any question that we are playing better without him, maybe we are. But any question that he doesn't have a place in this team is completely unfounded and very, very naive.
Yeah, thank you, Bobby, for that. I think we're coming to the end of the show, guys. Please subscribe, hit the like button. Also, share the channel that to everyone that you know. And I would like to thank Cheho, Tasca G, Bobby, DJ Sef, Bluebot Analysis, JC. I I think I've mentioned all the right people. Also, if you were listening and you didn't comment, I appreciate it. And guys, one thing. Let's keep on winning our remaining games. Everything is possible until the end. So, guys, thank you. I appreciate it. I have to bounce. I have to do other things. Thank you for coming in. Up the Charles, guys.
Cheers, bro. Thanks for having us.
Thank you,
Cheers,
DJ.
everyone.
Peace
Cheers,
out,
guys.
everyone. Peace, everyone.
Cheers,
Smash
bye.
the like and subscribe button.